have made my decision.
The winner
Of RuPaul's Drag Race.
is
I'm Christina. It does not matter if Christina is in the room. I'm Christina.
Oh, Jesus. Gross.
Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Christina, and this is X's for Show, your premier media response show where we just can't wait for All Stars, so we're bringing you some crazy drag race stuff for no reason. You can check us out at X's for Show. As for me, for all the reasons. As for me, you can check me out at Nico Action. It's NICOACTION.
And you can find me at TK Elemental.
And I'm Jonah. You can find me places at Peak Jonah.
And I'm your producer, Kevo. You can find me at Kevo Really. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment to let us know what you'd like us to cover in the future.
And we are here to do one of my favorite things, objectively rate things on my own determinant scale and rubric. So I'm here for it. I'm also really excited that this is probably the last time that we're going to do one of these without this lady down here. And of course, I'm not pointing at the wonderful Kevo, though if he was a lady, he'd be a beautiful one. I'm, of course, talking about none other than Tori Shin. And she has been on her own drag race discovery journey. That I want to be a bigger faggot. Like... I
think you're doing a great job already.
But so Drag Race helped me see that, like, I want my performance to be much more yes mama and like a lot sillier and like all of the draggiest play it up campy have a good time ways, and I never could have discovered that without this show. So we're taking a little time to talk about what makes each one of these seasons special. I just want to say this is not going to be Rate a Queen. No. Not a one of us is plain Jane looking to sass the results. Guys, remember when that was what we thought was going to be the drama of the season? Plain Jane fucking with the Rate a Queen?
Well, I mean, she thought it was for 45 minutes in the workroom and then realized, oh, okay, I'm good.
Kudos to her. We are talking about season dynamic. We are talking about overall season makeup. And I do just want to say, speaking of makeup, Tori, get ready because you're going to hop off when we get to what you don't know the outcomes for yet. So I know you're going to have to jump off in the middle of the episode and I'm here for it. But I do want to start us out with the question of the day. Where I'm super excited to ask you guys. We're here to rate some seasons, but that doesn't necessarily mean that season is going to portray your most beautiful mixed feelings. And for me, the mixed upest feelings are season 10. Season 10, what a toughie you are. It's an unusual situation where the outcome is not the outcome I would have wanted. So I'd love to hear from you guys. What is your mixed feeling season?
11.
That's it? That's it. 11.
Wow.
Done.
11. Yep. Right from the get-go, just an absolute disaster. The minute Vanjie walks into that room, RuPaul has drastically miscalculated that somebody doing the stupidest thing ever once that was so funny would be worthwhile of the Shangela save, which is a very different type of save, and just
repercussions.
And I know that queen will one day hear this and come beat me up, and that's fine.
I just want to be clear that it does sound like you think that like the level of hate you have in this situation is like you walked into a Zagat rated restaurant expecting at least one Michelin star and instead you got served some Doritos covered in marshmallows.
That's how I feel about that season.
That's called art, sweetie.
Just miscalculations left and right. We'll talk about it more when we get to it. And I'll give it one of the lowest ratings that we have. Weirdly, love the winner. Like you never don't love the winner. And honestly, even though I say the queens, I do want to say every time I always blame production. It is not when a queen doesn't come off the best. I very often do not blame them unless they're, Elliot with 3 Ks or something. That's another one. That's another rough one. But I think there's charming things about Vanjie. I think it was a production mistake to bring her back. It is not that I feel like she is not a good person that doesn't deserve redemption in the world. It is that I think what RuPaul offers when you get to come back like that is a very double-edged sword. And professionally for her, it worked out fine.
Welcome to RuPaul's Home Depot.
I mean, it could have gone that way for her. So, professionally, she did okay. She's the only one of them to get a separate reality TV show where she dates a bunch of porn stars for 24 hours. Yeah, for me, it's season 11. Jonah, say something nicer than what I just said.
I don't know if I can. I have very mixed feelings about season 12. It's very funny. We went 10, 11, 12.
Yeah.
12, and funny enough, Tori knows a lot more about this because as Tori's been watching her thing, she likes to text me. She likes to message me like things that happen, and I'll react and I'll give opinions of my opinions, what I know of how the fandom was reacting during a time. Season 12, I have a lot of mixed feelings about because I don't even want to talk about the scandal of it. Even just removing that, it was a season that was so heavily filled with production choices that felt very obvious and very much like, hey, we're production, we're doing this, la la la. And it really makes the season unenjoyable in certain aspects where it doesn't come across. I need you to fake the organicness. I understand it's not organic. I understand this is a reality competition show. This is not, we're not levels of like Jersey Shore where they just throw them in a room and don't really tell them what to do kind of stuff, but we're also not like, it's not Abbott Elementary. They don't hand them a script and go, here, this is what you're supposed to say in this situation, as much as they prod them. But it did feel very much like production didn't care how much they were showing their butt, and it felt like where's the illusion? We're doing drag. Where's the illusion in this? And that's where a lot of my mixed feelings come from.
I love it. Super, super valid, because one of the things that we are really talking about is what makes a good season in terms of what makes good gameplay, right? So I really hear what you're saying. Kevo, do you have a season that you feel the most mixed about, or are you pretty much like a one Jelly Belly flavor per bag kind of guy?
I think the season that I most vividly remember having the most mixed feelings about recently was probably 3 when we watched it. It felt super chaotic to me in a lot of ways. By the time we got to that last sewing challenge, I was like, this is like a production of Cinderella up in here. Don't know how to feel about that.
They've qualified for some sort of sewing union, I think.
They should.
That's funny. You think Drag Race is a union?
There you go. There's that. So that one for sure. But I think there's definitely there's every season has its little quirks, probably. So.
Well, and I think part of what makes every season so consistently trackable is that Boris and Natasha, I'm so sorry, Michelle and Rue are specifically this sort of guiding hand shaping the narrative experience for each season, which is where your Billies and your Merles and your Santinos, they just don't matter the same way. Although I will say by this point, Ross, TS, Carson, that's a trio that are so synonymous with the queer identity of the show at this point. I think the later judges really do hold a significant place in the show. They're the legs of the show as they were. And as Vanessa Williams wants us to know, the legs are the last part of the human body to rot.
The legs are the eyes of the body.
I've listened to the song literally like 340 times in a week, so I can't even. It's been a lot of that in Disco Boots by Gavin Turek. So I'm predicting.
I hope I dance like that when I'm 63, man.
God, I just Vanessa Williams has a new track out, and if you don't go listen to it, you don't understand how many times I did choreography to save the best for last around my family room as a child. Anyway,
So we gotta learn legs.
gotta learn legs.
And that's what I mean when I say I think you're already doing a really great job.
Thank you. So I'm really excited to talk about some seasons of Drag Race, and where else can we start but with the first season of Drag Race. Let's put this whole game up on the board. You know how we play. As the king of all things showmanship would say, y'all know what this is, right? JD would want us to just run through the rules real quick. It is an S, an A through a D, and we're saying how we, or did we special customize?
I cut out the D. I love them all too much.
They all have enough D. They don't need encouragement
we
to
don't
try
need
and
the
grab
D.
for more.
I just saw a clip of Trixie and Monet Exchange talking about their body count, and Monet said she's definitely getting close to the 4 digits. So that's just one queen. We don't need to worry about that.
I also really enjoyed that video of Monet falling out of a, what is it, on a track?
When she jumps off the building and is just very distressed. That's a great one.
I'd like to imagine that's Monet in bed every time.
Yeah.
Tori's answer to the question, by the way, had been continues to be conflicted about season 4.
Reasonable. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, like I said, every season has its
Let's do it. Every season there is a proper time or whatever, and the proper time to talk about season 1 is the how
Is
soon
first.
is now. Yeah. Season 1 kicks off the whole shebang with BB Zahara Benet as the winner, and in a real Saphira Cristal kind of move, we have Nina Flowers pulling double duties on the ones and twos with runner up and Miss Con. And I just had too much fun for 10 seconds and everyone's staring at me. You know what?
I'm not staring at you. I'm looking at Tammy Brown.
I do want to
As
say,
we all should.
Exactly.
I could hate this season if there was something wrong with me and I hated this season. I think you'd have to have a cold heart not to literally experience joy the way BB formed relationships with some of these girls, and there are those moments of magic with this cast. And I think Chanel's breakdown, I think Angina's kindness as a human being, that moment where she does the shimmy with BB in the finale, looking at each other, is like a magical moment for me. I thought I was going to hate this season, but goodness, I think this is an A. I do. I think this is an A season. I love these girls. The season itself looks like shit, but these ladies is an A to me.
Yeah, it's the original, so I get it. I get what you mean.
Season 1 is very fascinating because it is unlike any other season, because by season 2, the format is pretty much the exact same since season 2 onward. You know, they add their twist, they add their little, your little change of the rules, your little gimmick, whatever you want to call it, throughout. And it's very interesting that season 1 started off a very, very different way, and they kind of realized what was working, what wasn't working, and kind of just built from there. Season 1 also just has so many great quotes. I am beautiful. I just saw a messy man
today.
We literally quoted that today. What were we watching that someone said it that we quoted?
On Star Trek, somebody was like, I am beautiful. And I was like, I am beautiful. It was amazing.
Week after week, you have not told me. We're going to see
Trek
her on All
after
Stars 9. Track after track, ship after ship. Season 1, I'm filtering between A and B because I think B is, I think it's more of a B, mostly because, and not to the fault of the queens, they just had no idea what they were doing. This was the blueprint for a lot of reasons. That's why I can see where maybe someone might want to give it an A, because it really is special. It really is what started off the global takeover of drag. But in terms of looking at everything as a reality television show, season 1 like almost makes no sense.
So TK, do you also feel that this had to HBO real sex so that everything else could Pornhub?
Yes, I'm almost close to C.
What'd you do, Wachowski?
It's definitely not going above, because there have to be some C's in the mix.
Oh, there are.
I already know I'm getting at least one other one, but and again, as Jonah said, it's not the girls, it's not, and it's really funny because I'm looking at this photo, even this promo photo, and I'm like, this is a shockingly good promo photo, given how low the budget for the show is, and then also like, oh God, 16 seasons later, they don't get a ton better. Like they definitely improve. The budgets go up. They get more stuff, but they don't get a ton better than this. Everybody looks really good. Their makeup is good. They're retouched very well. In
blasted
post.
with light like a goddamn angel.
But I'm very surprised by that aspect of things. But yeah, it isn't. I mean, like, this is some kids, and I was one of those kids, will often go into the first day of school, the first test, and just bomb a little bit because they're just getting their bearings. They just got to figure out where everything is. I don't enjoy rewatching the season. I do love the quotes. I mostly can even just skip to the reunion. I don't even love the quotes. I just like Tammy Brown and RuPaul yelling at each other.
Excuse your mouth.
Excuse your mouth.
I don't see you walking children out in nature.
What is really... okay? But the detachment, okay, because when I say stuff like that, you guys don't want me going back into the Quiznos. She says stuff like that, and you're queuing her up for a fucking daytime Emmy. I just don't understand the balance.
I also, you guys are reminding me how much I really miss the classic lounge where they were stuck in the tiny sardine can instead of this open air place.
Yeah, I don't like when they can walk far away from each other and like.
Oh, to answer your question, Nico, have you tried wearing a wig? If you put a wig on, a lot of things get forgiven, and a lot of things get like.
Well, okay, listen, evidently none of you watch the show. Tamar, Kevo, what do you think? What's your score? Score it up.
Yeah, Tori says Chanel, Angina, Nina Flowers are her faves. Did not care for BB, but that so it's a B, knowing what we have coming. Yeah, I think probably also B. I was maybe leaning toward A, but oh wait, we only have 4 instead of 5. Oh. What do I always go last? Because I like sitting down here. I like sitting in the back class. Sure. Let's go with A. Let's be nice today. It was the original, as they say.
All right, but here's a season that I don't love quite as much. I love the Queens of season 2, but I think season 2 watches chunky. I think season 2 watches like the milk went bad. I love a lot of these girls. I'm stupid, obsessed with one of these girls, and
Mystique.
think that, yeah, that's absolutely it.
Mystique Summer Madison.
Listen, I know this is going to sound really stupid, but like, I don't care if it's Raven. It's not bullying. It's just correct. And I think she is like literally one of the greatest things to ever be on this show. But this season was ugly. And I think that's part of why I did not find myself as ready to be upset by her bullying, because this was like an entire season of Fifi's. This was just like a bunch of people who did not come to play nice. And this season is a C for me. I love these queens, but I do not want to rewatch this season.
I disagree.
Totally, please do.
I give this season an A. This season is insane. Notably, the only season ever to have a performance and bottom placements, as well as winning, based off of how well they did in the main challenge in terms of like a monetary value. Zahara won because she got the most money from her team, and Raven and Nicole Page Brooks were in the bottom because they had the least amount of money. Also, selling cherry pies, This entire season is wild. It's a fever dream. The way that this cast did not like one another made for beautiful, amazing chemistry. I would never say that. I don't want to converse with her. I think, conversate. I don't want to conversate with her. Soon my brain. I don't know where my
I
head's
fully
at.
agree. The Tatiana and Raven and Tatiana and Tyra Beef were both incredible. Mystique and Morgan McMichael's fantastic. Nicole Page Brooks, just as a person that exists.
I mean, to this day,
Chef's
we
kiss.
love. Everyone loves just going Nicole Page Brooks from Atlanta, Georgia, like just the full acronym.
Exactly.
The full acronym, all of those letters.
Raven, this is where Raven
On
gets her
first.
start. I know you love Raven, and like I think it's really funny that no matter what happens, Raven can't ever have won this season.
No.
That is to me also very amusing. Pandora Box was a proto Jinx, which is a great character.
Jessica
type.
Wilde, I love this drink.
Yes, yeah. The
Acai.
entire Berry Acai challenge, the original disaster challenge. Just I'm with Jonah. It's an A.
Well,
I think
and
this season today, it's good.
I definitely get what you guys love about it. Rewatching it, having seen so many better seasons, this really seems like a season where I feel like I would have loved to have seen any of these girls get a chance.
Mm-hmm.
I feel bad for them watching it more than I can enjoy it.
To talk about what you're saying, I want to give just a very quick real life example. When I was in high school and doing AP classes, they rearranged how they were doing AP chemistry, and because that was the year that they completely changed the test, everybody got a letter grade up, and that's kind of maybe what we're doing with season 2. It was the first time it's like, this is the new format, this is what we're doing, this is how it goes. And they were part of essentially the second experiment. Season 1 was already an experiment, but season 2 was a second experiment of, does the format, if we make it like this, work? Which it does. It is a tried and true format for 15 plus seasons at this point, that we all kind of understand it. It is one of those things where it's like, if you take this exact same cast on a modern season, it probably would be even more spectacular. But I am very appreciative of what we got for back in the day, but I do hear what you're saying.
And I think for me, similarly, I was very surprised because I felt like I kept hearing from you guys, we're starting you on 5 because 1 through 4 aren't really the same show. 1 and 2 definitely aren't. And once we finally got to 2, I was like, no, this just is the show in so many ways. Yeah. And I was really surprised, and I think it is pretty great that it does find its footing after the first season being so dramatically different, that it finds its footing that quickly. I am definitely with Nico in terms of like the actual gameplay of the season itself maybe isn't like my favorite. It doesn't stand out the freshest in my mind. It's one of the seasons I watched most recently, and I can't remember a ton of it off the top of my head. But I remember specifically, it did feel like Drag Race that I knew from all the seasons I'd already watched right away. And for that, I'm probably going to give it a B.
And I do want to give it up to Pandora Box, a queen that like it goes in that category of Sasha Velour. I don't get you, but I know I should, so I root for you.
She's the OG comedy queen. She walks so literally everybody else could run.
You really?
But it's very funny.
She actually walks so everybody else could pratfall.
And it's very funny because she just is very unpleasant. Like starting with her All-Star season, and then I have been to 2 events where she is one where it's specifically a meet and greet, and one where it was not a meet and greet. So I'm actually surprised that she couldn't even pull it together for that. But she is just not a warm and friendly person.
And that's okay.
Anyway.
Well, and now let's talk about somebody who I'm sure is known for being warm and friendly. Season 3 winner Raja, as well as runner-up Manila, that was deeply sarcastic on purpose, and Miss Congeniality Yara Sofia. I love this season. I love these queens. But again, I want to point out one thing that is super fucked about this season. And I mean this like really understanding that some people are probably not going to love what I say. But some of the elevation of some of this is because we weren't doing fashion yet. Some of this is because we weren't doing makeup yet. And I say that all very aware that I can't, properly mix a track the way, like, you're supposed to now. So I'm clearly not at mixing yet. But, like, these girls would be eaten alive by later season girls in some places. And some of these girls would eat those girls alive, too. But this is the first season where I really see that they're trying to play two sides here. They want the magic of modern Drag Race, but these girls don't have the incomes that modern girls would come to have thanks to the elevation. They don't have the experience of the learning library of 16 seasons of this, because that's what every one of the modern girls has that these girls could never. These girls have a lookbook of what season 3 did. So that said, I'm going to give this somewhere between an A and a B based on what you guys say.
I mean, you're not wrong. And that's that was kind of part of the calculus for me when it came to not showing you the earlier seasons first, is that, yeah, like there is a little bit of, the standards were lower, the knowledge sharing was less, people had, competition breeds innovation. And after many seasons of this, people got really innovative really fast. And it's not that they weren't amazing, and particularly amazing for their time. It's just that the time was prior to so much more competition. That's how I feel about, a lot of these early seasons. But I do, having started watching the show closer to this, so the evolution hadn't jumped that drastically, there was a lot to love here. I mean, Raja was such a cool queen to follow, and to just kind of see her attitude, the very organized Heathers versus Boogers bullying was a fascinating Stanford Prison experiment of drag.
And part of it has to do with, and that's actually where my big flaw of the season comes in.
Yeah, I get, yes.
All of the girls are not Rajas and Raja's pool. And like, so
well, and and it's so funny because I think about this a lot since watching the show with you, is because the time I watched it most recently was after season 15, where we talked about bullying a lot. And I watched the whole season and I was like, yeah, this is not great. And then they finally do the reunion, and Raja doesn't really have a good answer. She's not, there's not even like a, I didn't realize that I was being so hard. A lot of times people will give like I think Fifi, for as terrible as she was, gave the best answer. I look back on it and watch myself and I realized, oh, I'm insane. I think if you can say something that definitively self-deprecating, but also like seriously recognizing, you get some points. Raja was really just like, if you took it that way, I guess you're in the room.
Like as a victim bully, as a person who was bullied a bunch, but also did a bunch of bullying, I look back on who I was as a teenager and I don't love it. Yeah. But one of the things that I do remember is specifically, sometimes people would be like, but why did you pick on them? And I would be like, because sometimes you're funniest with a target.
Yeah.
And Raja just couldn't say it on TV.
Yeah.
And it's and I hate it, but it's why Bianca is so good.
Putting a target on someone else takes a target off yourself too.
It really does.
Well, and I will say, my least favorite queen in Drag Race history, and somebody I personally do not like. Mimi on first physically bullies. Like that's that is a kind of form of bullying, and that to me is much more representative of that. Like, do it for yourself. Like, take care of you first by fucking somebody else up. That for me, it's so funny. Like that's like why it's an A and also why it's a B for me. Watching somebody I truly do not like do something I truly do not like, I'm like, boo, but then the reaction to it is so against her that I'm like, yay.
It's such a fascinating thing to have at the top of the season to be representative of the season. Yeah.
Yes, 100%. I think it's a B for me. There's
tough,
so much iconography here, and I do love Raja, but overall, for me, season 3 is a B.
I have to go against the grain. I'm the problem. Me. I'm the problem.
Same problem. You're real cute.
Season 3 is an S tier season.
Nice. I respect it.
I will be the lone defender on it. It is one of those things, and I've told these guys here, watching season 3 for the first time, like I did not understand fashion until I watched Raja pound the runway.
That is correct.
Like Raja's fashion package, I still to this day I don't know if it's been matched in terms of like what that represented for the time period. And there's so many things about this season that the season is like actually insane. Like the season 2 queens were insane. This is where I'm like, oh, we need to like clinically diagnose a couple of these people. Like it literally starts with Phoenix and India Farah wearing the exact same outfit into the workroom, and India just saying "prison, honey," and it sets the tone for the entire season. Like truly, the amount of things I love just quoting from this season. Is that a porcupine? Did I read? Yes. Did I talk shit? Absolutely yes. Oh, pick me, Rue. Pick me. The amount of Yara Sophia is like it's an endless quote machine.
Oh,
I'm obsessed with her. Amy Winehouse.
Yara Sophia is a gotcha game of quotes, and you keep playing and making matches and then spending the coins for more quotes.
I still will never get over it. It happened in All Stars 1, but Alexis Mateo, again, truly amazing queen. It's literally saying, I speak Spanish and Jonna speaks Spanish and we speak English and Jonna speaks English, but sometimes I just don't understand her in either language. And it's the funniest thing because she truly, there are a lot of Spanish people who are like, I have no idea what the fuck she is saying. But season 3, it's also one of those where a lot of the times they were at each other's throats, but I also look at it and, Kevo alluded to it earlier when he was talking about his mixed feelings about this season. Like, they, like, worked these girls. This season has, like, 4 or 5 design challenges. It literally has 2 balls. It literally has 2 balls where they had to make all 3 looks for all 3 of those. And it's like, they didn't have the writers, I guess. I don't know. Whatever the reason they made them do this, it was a lot. And it is heartbreaking to, like, see how it is like, oh, the machinations. I don't even know if that's the right word, but sure, I'll still use it. Confidently use a word you don't know. That's my tip for the day. Confidently use a word that you don't know actually what it actually means.
I hope not sporadically.
Machinations. And for me, it's S for in terms of reality television, but maybe closer to an A. But it's an S in my heart.
Kevo, do you have a lettre you want to put on this season?
So the reason I'm giving it a C, it's a super fascinating season. I don't like bullying, and I felt like this was one that had some super extra strong bullying to the point where the cliques had names, and the names were gross. I'd forgotten, so thanks for reminding me. Most of my reason for the C, again, it's just so chaotic. Jonah pointed out how many design challenges there are. It was nuts, and I realized as I was thinking about that, preparing my answer, how is anyone prepared not to sew after season 3 of this had that many design challenges? How do you come on this show in season 16 and you can't sew? I'm so done with it. I am SEW done. And this season being the 3rd season underlines that for me in every way. And so yeah, I'm going with C. This is a C.
And now it's time to introduce my first S. I love season 4. I gouge my own eyes out. Love season 4. Hate the winner. Literally didn't get the winner from day one. Felt weird because I always thought I would feel guilty about it. But the winner, whose name is literally unimportant because they are, is not the winner for me. For me, the winner is probably Chad or Latrice, but the other winner is Fifi O'Hara's indomitable spirit. Fifi O'Hara is Tori Spelling claiming that she auditioned for 90210 in a wig. Fifi O'Hara is every pilot who swears they flew with Sully Sullenberger. Fifi O'Hara is the inability to stop making Scream movies. She is indomitable in this season, and I think she is worth the price of admission to the fucking franchise in this season. She is an S. She is an S, and it's not because she's insane. It's because at the end she says, "I'm sorry." Like, I love her. She is an S to the end, and so this season is too.
Wow, I did not know you felt that way about Fifi.
I just think she is a fucking machine, man.
I think she is a fantastic villain, but I do think she is one. And now she doesn't do drag anymore. So we love you, Jeremy. You do some great cosplay.
Oh, good for them.
Gosh, it's so funny looking at this photo and seeing Willem's full on, more clear than my current beard, a little bit less than Jonah's, but not entirely. Willem, Jesus Christ. I think this is getting a B for me. I do love this season. I really do. And even I loved what Sharon did and how Sharon won. It's unfortunate that she turned out to be a terrible person. But at the time, I really enjoyed seeing what Sharon was doing.
Sorry, I'm just sharing opinions.
I thought it was very cool. Even that first end of the world look with the blood capsule, I just thought she was really exciting and fun. I loved the vibe that Latrice brought, but man, there are some real rough ones in this bunch. Elisa Summers, the Princess, Madame LaQueer, LaShawn Beyond. This is not Jiggly's finest hour. I'm so glad Jiggly had the glow up that she did to go on to become a judge on Drag Race Philippines.
And found a way to absorb light to have that glow up. She's beautiful.
Truly, she really does look gorgeous now, but she's also, I love watching her on Philippines. But man, Honey Mahogany, this is a rough one. Even Dita Ritz. God, Dita Ritz had a great moment. I'm so glad she got to have it in front of Natalie Cole. But for making it as far as she does, sometimes I look at Dita's performance on the show and I'm just like very surprised. For me, this is a really weird and interesting one. This is B by way of having, I was talking about this yesterday, so many A moments, but then so many D moments, and it just averages out.
Jojo, what you got?
This is another season that's like wild and off the charts. This season was so influential, so impactful, so important to what would later be how we view drag. And it's not even like, it's just dipping the toes into what drag really can be. And there's a lot of, again, amazing quotes. Willem is literally the reason I've gotten into Drag Race. I watched the beatdown to actually, it's not true. I found DWV, to then watching the beatdown, to then watching Willem on Drag Race, to watching season 4, to watching a Jinx compilation, to watching season 5. For the unfortunate Sully of the history of the show is, not fun. But at the end of the day, I do think for what this season represented, especially when, also finding out a lot of what happened on backstage, I think it's an A, but it's one of those that's like, it's hard to escape from.
Kevo, do you have any opinions on season 4 Or are you just excited to get to some seasons more? I don't know when I became some sort of
No.
Shakespearean rhyming imp, but
But you're hitting all the rhymes, and that's really what counts in a situation like that. Do I have any opinions? No, actually, on this one, I don't have any strong opinions. I'm gonna give it a B for that reason, I think, because I don't have any strong negative opinions either. And, these are mostly positive. Even the C was still mostly positive. But yeah. Did everyone hit theirs?
yeah, I just want to say that I'm glad nobody gave it a C, because then I'd have to say, snap out of it, just for Chad, because I love Chad. All right, now let's get to, so like, culturally, when you talk about the X-Men, it's giant size X-Men because, the real X-Men show up. Hey Storm, hey Wolverine, hey Phoenix, and Nightcrawler. When you talk about Dark Shadows, it's when Barnabas gets there. That is this for Drag Race, culturally speaking, while many fans of the series certainly go back to season 1 and further back than that, I'm sure. This is a turning point for the series in terms of the universe. And I think for many people, it deserves an S. I give it an A, and I'm really glad it was my first season. There aren't flaws, there aren't mistakes, but what there is too much talent for one season. I made some scathing comments about season 3, had some girls that simply couldn't hold a candle to later seasons, and I feel that other people made those same similar comments about 2 and 4. I feel like 5 does have its fair share of moments of weakness from several girls, but I also feel that one of the mistakes here is that this is 8 potential winners of Drag Race all in one season before the production team understood editing 8 winners into one season. So you wind up with trying to fit a hurricane in a bird cage, and it's a little too much amazing in a little too small a space. And for that, it is a beautiful turning point. It's Traitors season 2. It's something that changed television for me forever and changed my life. But it's an A only because I didn't get to fall in love with Alyssa and Coco till later because there wasn't room to fall in love with them here. So,
Nico, when you have that much density, that's how stars are created. This is an S for me. This is one of the greatest seasons. I had plenty of time to fall in love with Alyssa and Coco. I'm not joking, bitch. Fuck you, Alyssa. Look how fucking orange you look. Are you kidding me? And even when they're on the same side shitting on Serena Chacha.
Oh my God, yes.
Coco explaining to Serena how she was team leader and she should have just taken credit for everything, and Alyssa just sitting there giving a claw hand at Serena the whole time. Oh, so great. Roxy versus Jinx, Alaska versus the world.
Roxy in season 5 remains one of the hottest any man has ever looked on television in the history of the known world.
That is an opinion that you have. Absolutely. Yes.
It's inhuman.
And thank God the American government allows you the freedom to shout it
walk
from
around.
Sea to shining sea. We love that for you specifically.
I can't walk around in public talking about this. I get hit with indecency charges.
Jinx was the first queen I fell in love with. Absolutely. And yeah, this is an S for me. That's where I'm at.
And I think you have a beautiful S.
Nice.
Jonah, what you got?
This is an S tier season. Everything about the season is truly beautiful and amazing. It is one of the only seasons where their top 3, actually funny enough, with season 3, have all the exact same amount of wins, with 2 each. This was a very competitive season. It's probably also one of the hardest seasons that theoretically a queen could try to compete on, even if you just yoink someone out and put someone else in. It is a stacked cast. This season has so many. They make this joke on All Stars 2, where season 4 was extremely popular, and season 4 put it on the map, but season 5 is what knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, no question. Kevo, what letter are you hitting season 5, your first season as well as mine, with?
Yeah, it is your first season as well as mine, and so that, among so many other things, just made this such a special episode, such a special season. Sorry, I'm a little distracted because part of what I'm going to be talking about is something that I'm very excited about this week is we have the Doctor Who season 1. We're going with this renumbering. It's fair. It's a thing that people do. It's season 40, season 14, and season 1 is going to feature Jinx Monsoon. Immediately, I realized the first episode that has Jinx Monsoon, because who knows how many, is going to be dropping the same time as the premiere. So I wonder how many people are going to be watching the second episode first, just for Jinx. I'm half tempted, but I'm not going to. I'm going to be doing a live stream with Traveling TARDIS, since that's going to be a lot of fun. This was also just such a special time getting to know Drag Race with you guys. And it made it such a magical season for me. You really debated for a while which one you thought would be the best to start us on. And so I really, 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 this one is so special to me. So I really can't give it anything but an S for all of those reasons.
I love that. I think that's beautiful. And to roll into another season that I think is beautiful and was hugely formative in us falling in love with this franchise. Season 6, I think you are wonderful. I'm an Adore Milano, a cookie just for her to snack up on. Courtney acts fine. And I love certain winners from this season. But the season's okay. I think in part because everybody is so friendly and so many seasons. No, this just does not have the same level of hideous drama 3, 4, 5 do. There is so much more ugliness in 3, 4, 5. Season 6 feels like a bunch of people trying to be famous. 3, 4, 5 feels like a bunch of people trying to eat each other alive.
They're much meaner in 3 and 4 and 5. You are right. The drama in this season takes the form of a lot of very delusional personalities all colliding in a way that I think is very fun.
I grew up in musical theater. This is just a day at the diner. This is a good season, but it's just not crazy, so it can only get an A.
This is my second S. This was really the one that did it for me. I think this season showed every talent that you could want out of the art of drag at some of the highest levels you'll ever see it. Even, for the fact that Bianca won coasting on the exact same silhouette in every runway, Bianca understood fashion in some really important ways, which is why I think despite the fact that she really didn't show enough, she managed to win on that. But having Vivacious come in as the last original club kid, which I thought was a great thing. Adore.
No, that's Aquaria. Remember, it's Aquaria. It's Aquaria. She's the last club kid. It's Aquaria. Remember, didn't you hear? It's Aquaria.
It's not Aquaria.
No, it's Lisa Edelstein, and we should all remember it.
I agree with that, but I love that was Vivacious's catchphrase coming in. The delusion from this center group here, Milk, Laganja, and Gia, absolutely fantastic. Endlessly quotable.
Milk is flawless. Milk is flawless.
Milk is insane. A garbage person like Magnolia Crawford in the mix. Courtney Act, relying on that body, Darian Lake relying on that body on the entire other end of the spectrum, Ben de la Creme, comedy sweetheart. It's just, I could go on. This is an S for me, absolutely. I love this season so much. I love all of these girls. This is to me just such a fun season to watch.
Is that really Dela on the bottom?
I know, right?
She looks so beautiful with that Katy Perry body, but
yeah, it's her look really did. I love that you said Katy Perry because it's so, her look is such a product of this time and it could not keep. And she really goes in such a different direction.
She might be the queen that I love the most after the fact. Like, I don't think I fell more in love with anybody like the way I've come to fall in love with Dela, just as a success, as a human, as somebody who lives an exemplary life of love. I think she's an incredible human.
Yeah.
Joj, I'm so sorry. Did you give your score for this one?
This is an S tier season. This season has an absolutely amazing cast, interesting storylines, catchphrases out the wazoo, so many interesting, unique queens. Like, they truly found a beautiful match of people to mix, which have, I think, the best chemistry to create this very wonderful season that has so many this iconic moments. We have, I think one of the only seasons where of the top three, two people never had a lip sync for their life, between Courtney and Bianca, which I think is an impressive feat. Adore is a phenomenal, not only lip syncer, which I think not everybody expected, but just somebody who's so talented. And as she puts it, she's not nail polish, she's nail polish remover. And there's something that I think this season exemplifies, that you don't have to be the most perfect at the art form just yet. You can still be trying to finding your footing, but you can still showcase what talent looks like. And this is just an incredible season.
Well, and I just want to say, speaking of what talent looks like, you can come from another English-speaking nation and be well-respected and really talented, not win, and get to host your own show. I'm sorry, that's Brooklyn. Kevo, did you have anything to add to my burn on Courtney Act? I'm sorry, she's so much more talented and successful than me. She could eat me and kick me to the gutter. I have to get my joy where I can.
It's true. We all do. And she knows that. We all know that. Yeah, this is an A. It isn't quite an S for me. But yeah, so much great talent. A lot of great stuff.
Oh, guys, thanks for letting me have my silly little laughs at the expense of somebody so much more successful than me. And that's at the expense. That was the laugh.
I mean, it's funny because it's so much of it is just that RuPaul hates her.
Yeah, that is
like, she's not getting it because she sucks.
Yes, thank you. I think
so. You know, it's I would get angry with you if I felt like you were punching down at a queen who was great and not being, recognized for her greatness. It's just that RuPaul is insane and will hold a grudge like it's her third job.
Because it's her
Drag Race and fracking being the first two.
So I want to point out that I think that season 7 is an interesting one, because I think this might have been the first season that culturally wasn't at the same level of success. I think Violet Chachki is one of the most beautiful women to ever be on the planet Earth. I really do. From the minute I saw her, she gets to be mean. But I don't love her as the winner of this season. I think ultimately I've come to understand that I was wrong. Ginger Minj is a drag goddess, and I misunderstood the assignment. I continue to think that Pearl can't. The best thing Pearl ever gave us is Scarlet Envy. So I'm not coming for Pearl, but girl, you constantly throw me off. This season's a B. I love it, and I love the queens, and I love everything about it. But it's just it's like you always say. At some point, you got to give one of Storm's outfits a low grade. They're all great, but something's got to get the B. And something
the Extreme
about
years were not great.
They were not great.
Yeah, that's if you need to give a low grade. Thank goodness for Extreme X-Men.
I just feel like one of the things that this season also suffers from is there isn't a clearly lovable winner. Violet Chachki is sex in a sugar glider costume that transforms into a slightly different sugar glider costume. But I also think this season is what happens when you have too many $1 million seasons in a row. Yankees, you got to do that rebuilding year. Everybody knows it's a ball club, and the RuPaul Ball Club had to reset here. And it just did not have the same production oomph. Every girl is brilliant and beautiful, but the production oomph is not there.
Yeah, I used to talk about the season just as being a bad season, especially right when it ended. And then as time went on, it has produced some of the most amazing, some of the most amazing drag queens just working professionally. Financially, the most successful one besides RuPaul. One of the most beloved, just incredible queens came out of this season. This is a terrible season. I think I'm probably going to give this a C. And it is not the fault of most of these girls.
I agree.
I'm looking at you. No, it's not the fault of any of these girls. Okay. Kind of Pearl, but whatever. That's a personal thing that I have. Nobody didn't show up to compete. If any of these girls had been in season 5, season 6, season 4, they would have all been fantastic. They were not bad. They were given such bad challenges. And every time I look back at the Shakespeare one, even though I think it is so funny that RuPaul yells at them, it's not. This is a terrible challenge. They may be unprepared, but they are unprepared to do something that was going to be boring and unengaging anyway. So I think because I really do love the show and I love these girls so much, but we're not talking about the girls. This is not a cast thing. This is a season thing. I do want to make sure that we rate across the spectrum, and this is a distinctly low point that production never really gets this bad again. I agree about some other seasons that we've said we don't like, but it is not in the way that this one did not turn out correct.
So if it was based off of cast alone, I think it's S tier.
Yeah.
As you said, TK, it is so unfortunate how badly they fumbled probably one of the best casts in retrospective they really had, and they just didn't really know what they're doing. I mean, it kind of started off with this promo. The lack of cohesiveness, because they were trying to do something. There was kind of an idea for a theme, but they didn't really know how to do it, and we just get this weird H&M mishmash of like, that's the theme. Nothing about this theme makes sense, and I think even just this promo sets the tone for a season where they did not give the cast that they had the proper challenges, the proper story. Like, I don't think the storylines in this season are that interesting, because I don't think a lot of the arguments are that interesting. I think there's some queens here who kind of get an invisible edit, and it's just, it is, I really do not know if they would think they were doing. I'm going to give it a B. If I was being a little bit meaner today, and if I had a particularly worse day, I'd probably give it a C. But it's only not getting the C because the cast is that amazing. But like TK said, the challenges were just weird. It felt like they didn't know exactly what they were doing. I will say probably one of the better challenges was the John Waters challenge. I think that was the best one. It's also literally my favorite RuPaul look, bar none. I mean, RuPaul has been looking fantastic for years upon years. Season 7, it's so unfortunate that this is the last season of Matthew, because she looked so amazing in season 7. Raven does a very beautiful, amazing job, but like season 7 is a very specific RuPaul era, and we're never gonna get that again. But yeah, it was a.
Well, I do just want to say that this season, as Tori points out, is an A because of Trixie and because of Katya, but, in some other ways, maybe not everybody's favorite. We are big Asbury people in this family, and it was recently revealed that none other than Trixie Mattel is going to be kicking off Asbury Pride Weekend. So they also might have even sweetened the deal with a little bit of JanSport opening the show. So I might have had to buy tickets already. So I might be going to see, and with these lovely folks, if they want to come, I have tickets for everybody to go see.
Am I a Nikki fan?
Yeah. So I'm very excited. Cannot wait. Season 8, big deal for me. I'm sorry, season 7, big deal for me. Not my biggest score, but definitely a season I love. That said, Kevo, how do you feel about season 7?
I think I stand behind what everyone is saying, and I think I will take that hit for Jonah, and I will give it the C. It's a lot of great talent, but I think season 3 had a lot of great talent that had nothing to do with the C. There were just a lot of other things, and I'm not going to be on this one. I'm going to be a little bit more firm, so we're going to go C.
Yeah. Join me on the dark side, Kevo.
Heck yeah.
Okay.
We got soup.
Season 8, this is a tough one. I think season 8 has one of the greatest winners in history, has one of the greatest runners-up in history, has one of the most ferocious runners-up in history, has the funnest miscongeniality of their era. I don't care. This season kind of just doesn't do it for me. It's a B. It's an incredibly talented B. This is Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip. Everybody in it is brilliant. The whole thing is brilliant. I love everything about it, but I just don't ever want to put it on. Ever. I have more fun quoting it than I would ever have watching this season again. So much going for it. Except me, so it gets a big dick B. That's what it is, but it's a B. For Bob.
Great metaphor with Studio 60. I don't agree, but that makes me entirely see where you see it from, especially because I just watched Studio 60 and was so frustrated by how bad it is compared to how good some parts are. This is an A for me. It's not quite the S of other ones. I don't know what it is because Bob is an incredible winner and everybody really is fantastic. Thorgy, incredible personality. Naomi, amazing. Chi-Chi, wonderful. Derek, the existence of whom I don't know what to do with to this day. Betty absolutely shitting on Trixie Mattel, one of the funniest moments ever. Anyway, Kimchi, of course, Kimchi, just amazing. I love this season. I just, it's not an S for me. I don't know why. Even though Bob is an S winner for me, this is a really good A season.
I'll tell you why. Even though it would completely change the dynamic of the show, outside of season 1, which had a cast of 9, this season only has 10 episodes. This is the shortest season that's not season 1.
Good call.
And by virtue of that, I think part of it is because it feels like it just goes like this. It has a double elimination. Nobody comes back. No double save. Like RuPaul was like, no, we're moving over to VH1. All of you can get out now. Like they rushed. So I think that's part of that feeling. And 10 episodes including the finale. So it is, so there's 9 episodes of competition if you really want to count the music video one, which that's not really like a challenge. That's more of like a formality of like at the time we'll get to the top 3. But I give the season an A. I love the season. Bob's my favorite winner, bar none, hands down. I love Bob so much. And this is also, again, an amazing, fantastic cast. I love everybody on this cast. Well, I say that, but Robbie Turner's there. And I don't know. Sometimes we wake up and choose to lie about things, so that's fine. But this season is A. I do agree. I think had it been longer and they just added 2 more queens for 2 more episodes, I think the season would have felt more flushed out. But I think because the 10 episodes, it's a very rushed season.
Good call.
Yeah. All right, Kevo, do you have any thoughts on season 8 before we find ourselves rolling in season 9?
I think I'm gonna go with B.
I think that's really fair. I won't hear any slander about Valentina's season. Give it an S. We're gonna move on. I don't even want to. I actually don't even want to have a conversation about this season. This season has Valentina, the most perfect villain, hero. She is Star Sapphire. Like if one human,
She's rose quartz.
she's so much more than any of those things. There's human language fails Valentina because she's just too much woman for reality, and she really wants it that way. And this is an S++. This might be my favorite season times 100. I worship the ground this season walks on, not just for my precious Valentina, who can literally not make a single mistake, but for the queen that I think is 10 times the queen that Valentina is in this season. 10 times and 10 times more. My number 2 drag queen of all time, Shea Coulee, who is
Under the motherfucking creme brulee.
the funniest, smartest, meanest, but still somehow most human person I've maybe ever seen on TV. I grew up with a lot of women who remind me a lot of the strength that Shea Coulee embodies every day. And I just think we're all better for a world with Shea Coulee. I literally won't hear bad words said about this season. S++.
Season's S+. Everything about this season. From the promo, one of the best promos we've ever gotten.
Bar
hands
none.
down.
Yep.
This cast is amazing. So many people who make such good TV. So many quotable moments. Like, I love Pheromone. Pheromone, that's my winner. I love Pheromone. The amount of times I just like saying to myself, let's get this roaster cooking.
Yes.
It's
You
criminal.
do.
I should be arrested at this point for how obsessed I am with a lot of this cast. Peppermint. S+, S tier.
I was gonna go with a very loving A, but they can't all be S's. You guys have convinced me. It's got to be a C. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I mean, this really is an S season. Sasha Velour relies on brains. Great
Beauty be
great
damned.
queen. Peppermint changing the world forever. There are a lot of queens I don't care for in this season, and yet the way they are in the season, I care to watch them. Kimura being top tier stupid, really fun.
Well,
really
and
hate-
white angina. I mean, Sasha's win.
Charlie Hides just throwing a lip sync, and then
Come on, Charlie. Poor Cuckoo, because she had to be a surprise comeback.
Yeah,
Didn't get to
we
do
don't
the
get
promo.
Cuckoo in the promo, but that's a blast too. I didn't care for Aja this time around. I don't know. I could go on, but yeah, you guys convinced me that this deserves the S that I did in fact give it.
Kevo, do you give it the full 9-inch Kevo that a 9-inch nails it? Do you?
Yeah,
Do you closer to got it?
do I contest? Am I going to give it a C? Do I skip? No. Yeah, this is definitely S. This is such a great season, such a bunch of talented queens. I said to Tori, watch seasons 5 and 9 and jump to the current season like we did, because that was exactly what we needed in terms of drag education. Completionist, she could not, so she is still chugging her way through, and I respect it. But this was one of the things that so strongly epitomized. I always forget this season is Pep. Oh, her on Traders. Go watch our Traders coverage. She's great. This was great. And this is an S.
It's an S forever. It's such a perfect piece of television. I feel really lucky that these guys got me to open my mind and really watch something that I think is incredible. So I'm very thankful.
Also, the best reunion, hands down, bar none.
Yep,
Everybody was
that was
so
the other
nice.
thing I was gonna say. Yep.
And then
Yeah.
they got vicious. And they got
Yeah.
mean.
So I have a hard time with season 10, which I think Dollar for Donuts and the best donuts I've ever had in my life are from Portland, Maine. Dollar for Portland,
Where we watch most of this.
Yeah. Dollar
for
for
real.
Portland, Maine donuts. This is up there with 15 for like most talented cast I've ever laid my eyes on. This cast is so many beautiful people in so much pain. It's almost hard to talk about the state of pain that each one of these women are in when they come to this show. Nobody feels safe. Nobody feels okay. It's gut-wrenching to see who Monet is today. Today, Monet is, S. Epitha Merkerson in early Law and Order. today she is Philip Glass proudly handing in the score to the Hours. Here she is giving me weird fail blog video feels. She is not the woman she's gonna be, and so many of these women go on to not just dominate, but this is a cast of women who literally write what drag is for the next 5 or 6 years, and every one of them seems to be at their hero's journey weakest point, and it really throws me off. I love each one of these women, but the pain they're all in, this is a C for me. I love Raja. I love Monet. I just can't with the pain.
I really agree. I went with B because I'm probably going to be given some lower grades in a bit, but like, it's weird that Mayhem didn't do well this season. We get incredible trauma stuff from Mo Hart, from Blair. The thing with Blair was one.
Thank you. I said Raja, but I meant Mo.
You did. I know you meant Mo. The thing with Blair was horrible. They should have cut it. It was that she was brave enough to talk about that. Incredible. We don't talk about sexual assault as it happens to queer people enough. The context was so awful and so wrong. Really just not a good thing on production's part. Mo Hart's stuff was much more nuanced. It was in the workroom. It was much more voluntary. It wasn't, don't send me home because I've had this religious trauma.
Was it voluntary or was it
true?
Literally?
Yeah, I shouldn't say voluntary because she very well could have been pushed into it by production, but it wasn't on stage.
It was
in
just
front of
so
RuPaul at contest mode. I don't like that Eureka came back. This is the worst side of Eureka we get to see. Vixen is just in an oubliette the whole time, absolutely miserable. Just sees fights on all sides. And she's not 100% wrong, but it leads to a really uncomfortable reunion thing. Cameron has quit drag. I don't think Cameron was a great drag queen anyway. I don't know how she lasted this long. Asia.
Oh my God, that makes this season trend.
Yes. Asia killed a bunch of butterflies to be here.
Asia is...
Cracker deserved to be in the finale. It's a disaster through and through, but they're all amazing. I mean, I love Asia so much. I love Mo. I love Monique. I really do love... I love Aquaria. I think she ended up being an incredible queen, an incredible talent. I ended up being. She was at the time, but it just, the win didn't feel right because nothing was right about how we got there.
Because it was Asia's season to win and lose, and
yeah.
I even feel with the butterfly mistake... They should have done. I think they should have.
I don't think they should have let her do it.
Correct. Yes, I think production should have stepped in and been like, "Hey, maybe don't do this.
Yeah,
maybe don't."
Like Saphira with the blood. Yes.
I think this season's a B. I love a lot of this cast. I love May May. I love Cracker. I love Monet. Monet pissed herself on stage. Monet also has the most embarrassing.
Like Fergie.
She has the most embarrassing elimination because she'd be eliminated with Tyler Oakley. Respect to her for the YouTube thing. I love Aquaria. This season also, I think, has the funniest rumors, which we thought, Blair was going to get arrested on stage because she had a DUI. Vixen was going to be lip syncing with Aquaria and having gravity-defying stunts while Aquaria was dancing on the judges' table naked. There was a lot of wild things and speculation that we thought was going to happen, and none of it did. So for that reason, B. This season starts off well. I think tempers a little like in the middle, and has a pretty okay. Gets better towards the end, and then the finale is unfortunate and nosedive. But it's not a C overall. I do think it is B.
Kevo, do you have any thoughts on season 10, the season that I literally watched the finale with you going, is she throwing paper? She's my favorite. What's happening? I don't understand. Asia's my favorite. What's happening? Why does
Hey. It was interesting.
I will literally never forget the message from TK was, I just never thought you'd love Asia that much, and I thought you'd remember. And that told me everything. Bless. I thought Asia, top 10 queens in the history of the show. So, I don't know. Ooh, season 11. We hit a point where we had watched so much in a row that I was like, no, it's diminishing returns. It's not that I don't like season 11. No, with some distance, I don't like season 11. I love season 11's queens. I think Evie Oddly is what made me feel confident getting on a stage. Evie Oddly is obviously a drag queen. She loves to dress up in all sorts of femme drag, but the way she fucks gender really changed my life. And I think Evie Oddly is living art. When you think about like Grant Morrison talking about Dadaism as a way of being, like Evie Oddly challenges notions and pushes me to think further about what I want to see on television. I just don't like this season though. I even like double checked that I wasn't losing my mind. The challenges are weird this season, and the balance of them is weird, and the placement of them is weird, and it's trying to be bigger, but in a way that feels cheaper. Like it feels like it feels like a Long Island versus a Staten Island wedding. Like both sides are spending way too much money on all the wrong things, and nobody is actually making anything look expensive. And so this is a B, but Evie Oddly might be the number 3 winner of all time for me in the history of the show. She truly is living performance art.
I agree, Evie, phenomenal winner. Love her so much. This is a C for me. We did not start out well with Soju talking about her cyst.
No.
And that she was oozing on stage. I think that's kind of funny, but I was not charmed. Not a great place to start. Silky was an absolute nightmare, and the fact that production's so miscalculated on that, huge turnoff. It was just awful watching her be Silky the whole season. If I had to lip sync for my life, I was ready to do so. Is now, many years later, funny, but it annoyed me at the time and for years to come. Kahana Montrese wasn't good. Ariel Versace's a racist. Brooklyn Heights lost the season and yet is still hosting Drag Race. Sure, whatever.
Listen, she was a drag queen and now she's a game show host.
She's
You're
also
welcome.
Miss She's also Miss Continental, so I get it. But even still, I just branding wise, it's a weird thing to me. Plastique Tiara is perfect and makes me think I might be heterosexual.
Yeah, every now and then I'm like, yeah, I'm pan bi.
I mean, she is the entire pack. No matter what Plastique Tiara is doing, I want it. Anyway, it's a C. It's not a good. So the girls weren't great, is what I'm saying. But then it just production was really bad. The Get Out challenge, distinctly remember just being so inscrutable, and I really didn't like Opulence You Earn Everything because it was just kind of punching down at this poor girl. And I'm glad we, as the audience, could laugh with her and lift her up in laughing at it, but it didn't feel like Michelle and Rue were doing it at the time. It didn't feel like production was.
You really help. I try to think that I am, I don't know. I like to think I'm Kal-El, but you really helped me realize that I wasn't seeing that it's punching down, because when I watched this, I'm still a drag baby. I've gotten up on stage with a mask on. Cool. I'm a drag king. Great. But like, there's so much history. And until you learn the history, you're just singing some songs until you've been in the march. And like, I never thought of it as punching down because I felt like I'd seen Paris is Burning when I was like 13 because my best friend really wanted me to be a good gay man and knew way more than me, being a 14-year-old white girl. And I felt like her. I never thought of it as punching down, and I see how so many people with more knowledge were probably unkind. And I have so much more understanding for a joke I laughed at now. And thank you. I really feel smart.
Yeah, I mean, like, and you know, I laughed at the time and then I stopped and I was really like, how can this be a great thing for her? And it didn't feel like it was at the time at all. And again, with distance, if I had to lip sync for my life, I was ready to do so. With distance, it's less making fun of her and more like the crazy things that happen on Drag Race. But at the time, it just felt like Rue and Michelle really felt like they struck gold by this idiot not being able to do the line. and I just really hated watching it.
It kind of invokes from season 4 Kenya Michaels. I love the
Yes.
smell.
Yes.
It's
A
just
lot
somebody-
of the early seasons are very much the Spanish speaking girls are at a disadvantage, and the show likes to laugh at it.
Yeah, season 11 I think is B. It's one of the most it's a very wild season because again, I like my problem with season 12, which we'll get to in just a little bit. A lot of production choices, a lot of you can tell who was getting protected where they were like, no, they did a lot worse. I will say also has one of the most fascinating cases of somebody like Sugar Cane who made it to the top 7 and then they had to cut, even though she did amazing in the challenge, but put him in the bottom for her outfit. And even though it's kind of like, she was kind of on borrowed time. My hot take is she probably still lost to Ariel, even though Ariel fell, but like, they didn't care about Ariel, so they were just like, bye. I will say, Sorry Not Sorry, I think it was my favorite lip sync ever. I love that lip sync. I get so gay for it. Come on, Cirque du Gay. Like, you put that lip sync on, and I just, the furniture goes up my butt. That's how gay I get. But overall, it's B. As much as I love Evie, I love her performance against Brooke for On the Edge. I'm on the edge.
Oh, I thought her versus Brooke for Sorry Not Sorry was the one that I will never forget.
Oh, I think it's both for me. I think it's the actual lip sync. I think is the best, like, tightest between the two.
Yeah.
And then her finale, like the reveal with the headpiece.
Yeah.
I think is really what, like, I think. I was like, okay, yeah, no, she won.
I feel that.
Also, one of the worst reunions because it's so tame.
Yeah.
Well, you're entering the age of social media dominates the conversation. So the reunions at this point go Dudinsky. Kevo, how do you feel about RuPaul's season 11? RuPaul season 11. Oh, she wishes she was 11. When you were saying earlier the Doctor Who seasons, I just kept thinking, wow, Doctor Who is gay aging. He's 41. He's 14. He's 1. I just kept thinking that's like gay math, like no one's business. How do you feel about season 11?
What was the general grade that we got?
I went with C.
BC. I gave it a B, but
Yeah, I was probably gonna go with B. So that sounds about right.
I don't even feel good giving season 12 a grade. Season 12 is so complicated. The winner is correct.
This is the gas leak year.
Yeah, that's my favorite season of Community. This is
You're catching up.
I can tell you a million reasons why that season has so much heart. Anyway, I legitimately hate this season of television. This is not good TV, and I think it has to do with the editing job is a little bit kind of like the missing pieces at a Firewalk with me. This isn't a whole season of television. I also don't get Sherry Pie. If she had been in my theater class, I would have been like, no, chloroform the bitch.
Didn't get it. Invisible Woman. I didn't see it anyway. So like it just felt weird.
The winner is so correct. I feel even bad saying it, but this is not my season talent or person wise. There's only like 4 or 5 queens that I like live for this whole season, and I live for them. But in that way, it almost feels like a season of great food trucks where like I only really care about 5 people and everybody else can fuck off. And this season's a B, but Jada's an A+, S+, super queen.
Jada's, I think my number 2 winner. I love Jada
really
so much. Also, this is as I said earlier, this is the season I have the most issue. I have the most mixed feelings about. I'm gonna give it a B. I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna play nice. I'm in my congenial era. Like I said, if I was, if I had a worse day today, I'd probably act a little bit more like TK. But B, also, too much production value. And I was telling Tori, and I went on an entire rant, and I'm going to go on it now. The fact that Sherry Pie was not in the bottom for the one-woman show after going 15 minutes over her allotted 12 minutes over the allotted time, that nobody stopped her, the fact that she was continuously praised for it.
One of my angriest in the history of Drag Race ever. Actually.
I'm not saying Jada would have smashed it out of the park had she gone on stage on time, but it was a showcase of, oh, we don't care if you know we're playing with production's favorites. We're not supposed to see that. You're supposed to edit that away from us and make us believe in the story you're giving us. It was one of the worst moments on TV. It makes me so irrationally mad. At the end of the day, it does not matter. There are really a great handful of queens I love from this season: Jackie Cox, Jada, Jan, Rockham.
Hey, wait. Star Trek's Jackie Cox?
Star Trek's own Bajoran Jackie Cox, who I love Jackie. Also, the world needs to give Britta props for this promo look. This promo look is one of the best promo looks we have ever seen. She is eating. That's the reason why she's front and center, because she's literally eating everybody else.
And I also do want to say, Jan Sport, mama, baby girl, when we come see you in Asbury, if you want to come on up next to me, I'll gladly buy you a drink.
We love you, Jan.
You look
so excited
cool here, and you look so cool.
Look cool on Glam Slam, right?
Yeah, in all of the super amazing, you got to have your actual name promo shots. I just think it's really great that when she was here, she was Jan, but now she gets to be Jan Sport, and I just think that's great.
She was just talking about how she only found out she couldn't be Jan Sport like 3 days before.
Heartbreaking.
Which again, that's lowering my grade. They really, RuPaul's Stanford Prison Experiment, another moment, just treating Jan like absolute shit the whole time, dangling wings in front of her.
Can I also get on my soapbox, but just about that? Yeah. Regardless of whether Gigi did amazing or not, which Gigi did amazing. That's great.
Yeah.
We spent the first 5 episodes of the entire cast together, episodes 2 through 6, of Gigi and Sherry winning, and it was so boring. You can just give the win to Jan. You can eliminate her next week. It literally did not matter. Jan wasn't going to win. I feel bad saying that. We love you, Jan.
No, it's true.
But
there's nothing wrong with liking the girl that naturally sits at an 8.
Well, and also stop acting like every time the person who does the best, like, is A, it's objective, and B, that person always wins. You often will give us a winner who didn't really win because it makes for interesting television for whatever reason. And so not doing it with Jan was just kind of, lazy. I don't know what the right word is.
I don't know. There's something about, like, I feel like, and this is such a weird comparison, but please mind the fact that I don't think that Jan would have ever done anything super inconsiderate to a special needs community. Jan could have been like a Sia type. I feel like she really did have a really unique voice, a one-of-a-kind perspective. And I kind of think her treatment on Drag Race as like funny punching bag did ultimately right her career for her as funny punching bag.
Yeah, a little. I mean, and she's doing fine, so it's not the end of the world.
Yeah,
it's
but
very interesting that Jada absolutely unequivocally was not supposed to win this season and would not have won except for Sherry Pie turned out to be a criminal, and then Gigi cheated. That's what happens.
Gigi's the Karasan of Drag Race. I don't know how to, like, it just makes sense.
God,
these are more C's. These are more reasons why it's getting a C. But it's weird because we have a couple winners where there's like, I don't know if they would have won if not for, and you kind of maybe don't love that queen won. I think Jada was the exact correct person to win, even though it was clear that production really was not planning on her winning. And the only thing they could not allow less than Jada winning was Crystal Method winning, which I could not agree more with. Exactly the right decision. Crystal, I now actually very much enjoy. One of my least favorite queens on her season, just so incredibly unpleasant to watch, right up into the I'm Like a Bird video, which is genius video art, should be right up there with William Wegman. Nicki Minaj being mean to Heidi in Closet is when her career started to end. Britta is every Mainer that has ever moved to New York and then can't shut up about New York. You're from the fucking boondocks of Maine.
Wait,
Britta
did
filter.
Britta live in New York?
uh,
Britta was the queen
uh,
of New York.
Dahlia, horrible loser. Aiden, horrible contestant. Nikki,
Lying about celebrities that had to
yeah,
go around.
come on, girl. Nikki, another loser who was then given a Drag Race franchise. I don't know
love
what to
Nikki.
do with this.
I do want to say that one of the things that
And
Heidi
Heidi.
built out of this career is the glory of being the salacious one, because Heidi's season is the dirty season. You can't possibly talk about Heidi without talking a little and All Stars season 8 has quite a bit of about it, in part because of Heidi. And I wonder how much of that is built into the fabric of her season 12 behavior, being inextricably linked to one of the most dramatic seasons.
But she was great on that season, and
Oh,
you know,
for sure. She's perfect.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a C for me.
All right. Let's take a look at season 13. Season 13, I feel bad. It is just not my season. I really love the winner. I can't speak highly enough about Simone. I love Lala Ree, Miss Congeniality. And hey, runner-up, Candy Muse, Mama, You Make TV. This season feels like a dud for me. And I know that culturally it's not, but for me, this season was a lot of talent that didn't perform up to standard. I got to give this a C. This is not my season of television, but like every queen on it is a goddess. And I'm so grateful for what they've done for drag as an art form and Drag Race as a TV show.
So I'm going to answer why you feel that way. First off, I'm obsessed with 90% of this cast, but I put this as B, but I can understand why you might put this as C, because this is the season where people were afraid of what things about social media were going to be said.
Yes.
The only
yes,
person
yes.
who did not care about that was Candy Muse, which is why it feels weird when Candy's giving reality television and making moments and nobody is biting back outside of Tamisha, and then they just eliminated Tamisha right after anyway. Don't even want to talk about that. But it's because a lot of this cast felt reserved about what they were saying, because people on social media don't know how to act properly and don't know how to treat properly and can't just take a TV show as a TV show, or don't understand, like, hey, you can phrase something as, I don't know if I agree with the way they did this, they might not be for me, as opposed to sending death threats or sending something horribly racist to people, because y'all don't know how to act right. This is why we can't have nice things.
One more time, Candy Muse is a beautiful mixed race woman, and if one more person says that she is skin darkening, I am going to lose my mind.
Punch him.
She's a villain in every way, but she has never once done something publicly not according to the appropriate behavior of her station and her place. And I just come for her for all the horrible things she said, but don't come for her for stuff that's not true. I feel weird that I have to defend Candy Muse, but like other queens have been defending her in the last couple of
Defend
weeks.
Candy Muse.
I'm gonna come out and say this villainous traitor is she is not doing anything untoward.
No. But like I said, Simone, Rose, Gottmik, Olivia, Candy, Denali, Utica, Lala. I'm obsessed. Joey J. I'm obsessed with like 90% of this cast.
Yeah, is perfect.
I love this cast. It's an amazing cast. Again, like season 7, I don't know if they had the best challenges. A lot of them felt a little. I don't know. I didn't really know how to feel about them. But I think this is probably one of the most correct winners. Not that I wouldn't have loved if Candy had won. I would have loved if Candy had won. But like, Simone is just so cool. Like, Simone is the only person I have a parasocial relationship in that I just want to be her friend. I just want to be friends with Simone. Is that too much to ask for?
That's how I feel about Jada. I completely get it. I would never come for even 1 second.
For me, I was deciding which between 13 and 14, which is getting the A and which is getting the B. I've decided 13's getting the A. I love Simone. Simone was so cool, as has already been said. Rose, even though she really annoyed me and I thought she was insane,
'Cause we
She
have a
really
rosé with
does
us.
have a set of pipes on her. Gottmik
compliment.
turning out to be funny was one of the best moments for me. Like, it was just so fun to watch. But the other thing this has is the losers and the moments of loss and the moments of failure are so good. I was rooting for us. Amazing. I'm the gayest contestant that's ever been in here. Joey J.
I said
RuPaul, stand
what
up for
I
us.
said 15 times a week. Like, I will be in meetings at work and go, I said what I said.
Yep,
And,
that's
like-
another fantastic one. I will be sitting in meetings and just in my head I'm going, I'm a gay ass bitch. I'm Joey J. Yes, Utica bombing the roast is probably, I think, one of the
And then
most
Snatch
important.
Game, the
And
Bob
then
Ross.
Snatch Game. But I
This
think
is
bombing
an
the roast,
ugly fucking snatch game.
I think bombing the roast was one of the most important moments in Drag Race history because I don't think
Yes.
anybody ever really bombed like that and wasn't insane. Like, the fact that she was so her sweet Seventh-day Adventist self about it and was not delusional and was kind and understood that she had screwed up but wasn't cloying about it. It was a really good moment. Tina Burner is a psycho. Denali lip syncing to against Kimura. I'm just not thinking of the song.
100% pure love.
I just want to say
I-
Denali is a Jersey bitch as much as a Jersey bitch can Jersey bitch on this show.
And she's from Alaska, which is funny.
She gives full Jersey.
Weirdly, the two people that I don't love from this season are Olivia Lux and, well, it's not weird that I don't love Elliot, but I don't love Elliot.
no.
I don't know. Olivia just didn't do it for me. Anyway, this is an
Olivia
A
did it for me.
season.
That's because
Also, Lalaurie in the bag challenge, iconic failure. Fail up, girl. Way to go. Anyway, I think this is the A.
Kevo, do you have any deep feelings on 13 either way? I know that we say I said what I said to each other 16 or 17 times a week in the kitchen.
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna be kind, go with the A. I'm kind of like TK. I'm like, do I want to think about what my grade for my next one is going to be? No, I'm just gonna plow forward. I'm gonna be kind first, lead with kindness, and yeah.
I'll tell you why this is getting the B out of the two, 13 and 14, even though I could go on about each of these queens. So much great stuff to say. It's chocolate. Production
Yeah.
screwed this up. I appreciate experimentation. I think throwing in an idea here and there is fun. I think pasting a backbone of this weird meta piece really was a horrible idea. It led to so many unpleasant, uncomfortable, killed moments. It's Chocolate really wasn't funny. Okay, sometimes it's funny.
Well, I actually want to build on that and
Yeah.
just say, like, anybody who grew up with Madonna as a gay of the 90s remembers Something to Remember,
Not
which
Maddie.
was her. No. What a shame, too, because super handsome. Anybody who grew up with Madonna in the 90s grew up with Something to Remember, which was her ballad collection and had a few additional tracks like I Want You, which was super excellent. One of the things about that is it felt like a rebuilding year. It felt like Gilmore Girls season 4, where they just needed a little bit of time to get their stories together for season 5, or in this case, Drag Race season 15. It almost feels like they wrote into each one of these girls' contracts. But you're the sacrificial season, right? You're cool with that? Okay. We're just figuring out how to get our feet back together after COVID, and all of you are going to do something for this country. It's why I have an unusual affection for Angeria. I think that Angeria reflects hope after COVID. I was very, very, very lost when we started season 14, despite the fact that we watched it out of sequence. And Angeria's warmth and kindness kind of reminded me that there is good in the world. I was a cornbread boy. Oh, was I betrayed by ankles? God.
Her uncle go click.
But this season is a big old B for me. But even if it's a B in the way that Great Hope can come from a B. I purposely won't read Francesca Leah Block's Weetsy Bath books as an adult, but if I ever did, I'm sure they'd get a B. For despite being about Great Hope, they are just clunky. This is hopeful clunky.
This season is a B for me. One B for Bosco. Bosco is actually my number one queen of all time. It's Bosco. It's Bosco. But it's Bosco for me. I love Bosco. Wah wah. This season has a lot of really great entertainment value. Again, a little bit camera shy in the sense that some people were a little upset.
Great word.
About making TV because of the idea of backlash. I also think by virtue, not even the problem of the chocolate bar twist, more so this season has the most non-elimination episodes. One of them, the first one of them I get when Cornbread had to, leave because of her ankle. That's fine. You can have a non-elimination to make sure you're on track. But then we have a double save between Jasmine and Georges, and then we have one for nobody goes home during Snatch Game, and then only one person goes home the week after, and then we have the chocolate reveal, and I think it's a lot. This season is a lot. And this also season has a top 5.
The 5-person finale.
Which is, it's so much, it's a lot going on. And I think this season just...
Cinco de Mayo.
I think, unfortunately, for what I think is a pretty stellar cast, I love a lot of this cast. I love Willow. I love Willow as a winner. I love everything that Willow did and is doing with her run where she's like, Willow doesn't care about the show. And I kind of love that for her.
Yeah.
She got on the show she wanted. She was like, I'm out.
Done.
I mean, Give It To Me Straight is one of the best shows. What Maddie is like, it is so insane what Maddie is doing for her post Drag Race career, for how the show treated her, how the fandom treated her on initially, to now it's like she's rising up there. The Maddie stonks are rising, and I'm invested. I'm invested. Unfortunately, season is a B, but overall, I think a good season, just too long.
Kudos to Tranos herself, Carrie Colby, for making everybody trans.
Yes.
Really important that we do that wherever possible.
This is the season with the most trans girls.
Yep.
There's a lot.
Yep.
So what's your score, TK?
B. B. I love it very much, but I had to choose between that and 13, and this one gets the B. Like I said, it's just because of its chocolate.
Kevo, I think you're giving it an A. Do you have any other big thoughts on 14?
No, I gave it a B.
B. Excellent.
Yeah, I really agree with a lot of your sentiments. Like, pretty much everything you said is what I was going to jump on what you said at the top there, is that it was a rebuilding year. There was a lot of good talent, but it was a lot of strange. So I'm going with B.
And I'm just going to fully reveal my next 2 votes all at once and go SA, and say that 15 is an S and 16 is an A. If there's anything that puts 15 above 16, it's that every week felt a little bit more do or die. The people in the tops and bottoms felt a little bit more evenly matched. And we hit a point in 16 where it was like, here are the people they're giving all the awards to, and here's everybody else that they're keeping on. So I'm definitely going to give 15 an S and 16 an A. How about you guys?
I'm right there with you. 15, really a culmination, taking Drag Race to a new level. I also think they blueprinted a lot of personality types that you saw show up again in 16 in a way that we'll need to see what they do for 17, but it felt like they were making a new statement about what kind of girls they wanted on and what they wanted them to do and be. This pulled from a lot of Drag Race tradition to do the things that it did. It's so weird that Sasha Colby wins the moment she walks into the room, and yet it is compelling to watch her win. It was a little weird seeing Saphira win the moment that she walked in, and it just sort of felt like almost a little bit boring. Boring's not quite the word, but it was just like, it was such a foregone conclusion that Saphira would win until production went off the rails this season. Season 16 is getting the A from me because they made so many weird decisions, and it felt like a House of Cards or like an attempt to gather sand where things were just slipping through their fingers and they kept making moves to try and make stuff work. And it just resulted in a production that was just like they sent the wrong queen home immediately. And from there, it was a lot of that. They were all amazing. So it wasn't like, well, this horrible queen is still here and this amazing queen left. But it was all weird. And I think there was such a culmination of greatness with 15. 16 being experimental is okay for it to get an A. I really hope they learned a lot because there was a lot of stuff in 16 that I complained about that I hope they will do better in future seasons.
How you feeling, JoJo? How you think about 15 and 16? Do you feel like this is Final Fantasy 7 and 8 where like obviously everybody's all about the materia of 15, but everybody's kind of like on the junction of 16?
Has anybody ever done a parody for I'm a Materia Girl?
Yes. Hold on. Keep talking.
Okay.
I hope no one's ever done it so I can!
15 gets the A for me. Really amazing season. I think it was kind of a renaissance and a rebirth of the series where, 10 to 14, I think, maybe can kind of feel like a slog with everything that happens with them and everything that's going on. 15, I think, doesn't come to play and really kind of knocks it out of the park. It doesn't really get the S because not her fault. I think it was just a little predictable that Sasha was going to win. And everyone was just kind of fighting for second, which is unfortunate. Again, not her fault. It's not her fault. She's the Dumbledore drag. She has a legacy for a reason. She's insanely talented for a reason. I love so much of this cast. As my favorite first eliminated ever. I will never stop campaigning for Irene to be on All Stars. That's just me. 15 is great. 16 is the S for me. I think 16 is kind of like up there for season 9 for me. Everything about season 16 is just absolutely bonkers, batshit insane. They did not come to play. It feels like 15, where I was like, oh, okay. There's a couple of contenders that I think can actually take this. And I think that felt really amazing and fun to watch each day.
You know, Kevo, 15 was our trial by fire, but 16 was our first attempt to exist in the Drag Race universe as people who knew what was going on. I think that when we started 16, we'd seen at least 12 seasons, if not more. And how did you feel about 15, 16? Where do you land these two by grade?
You know what? I agree really strongly with the grade, and I agree with everyone's sentiments. Something that it's really funny that I would compare this to in terms of my fandom, in terms of something that I came to late, that my first season was a whirlwind that I thought was really breathtaking, especially as I watched it. Then the next season that I watched after waiting and watched live, thought was really good, but there just was something that wasn't quite the same. Again, is coming back this week, Doctor Who. I started with season 3, and then season 4, I don't know, it wasn't really the same. It was something about having been saturated in the fandom for so long and having waited, and it's something about a fandom that is this big. When you come to it this late, your impressions grow as you adopt more of the fandom. And so while I wonder how I would feel if 16 had been my first season, and I wonder if I would have been even more enamored of 15 then, or I'm not even sure, but definitely would say S and A. So we're going with Sa for 15 and for 16.
And
here we are.
I really love what we did, and if everybody just wants to kind of give their 3 of their top queens, it doesn't need to be your exact top 3, but 3 of your top queens would be amazing. And I'm going to get us rolling and pass the ball to JoJo to give his sign off. It has been so exciting to get to talk about this incredible lineup of seasons and queens with you guys. For me, I think my top 3 kind of needs to be Saphira Crystal, Shea Coulee, and Jimbo. I think that triplicate really represents my personality and my fandom. Jojo, as our Sherpa who led us up the mountain of drag a queening, who is your top three? Where can everybody find you? And I guess that's it. Yeah, sign us off, man.
Oh, top three is so hard for me, but if you're allowed to include Jimbo, I'm including my favorite international winner, Priyanka Bob Bosco. That's my top three.
Oh, what an exquisite top three, Jojo. And if everybody wants to talk to you about that amazing top three, what's your name and where can everybody find you?
Priyanka. No, my name's not Priyanka. You can find me anywhere online at Peak Jonah. Talk to me. I'm nice.
I have played that song 16 trillion times.
We're coming on through.
Kevo, do you have a top three? I know you try to be more magnanimous than that. You're kind of like a top 10 guy. But if you could pick even maybe one or two for your top three, and where can everybody find you on this amazing channel?
I'm gonna pick my anxious dorks for right now. Jinx, especially because we're going to be seeing her this week's. Miss Cracker and what's her name? Bajoran.
Jackie Cox.
Cox.
Jackie, thank you. God, she looked so great interviewing all of the cast of Discovery this season. I really hope we continue to see her involved in Star Trek stuff on Paramount. We'll see. You can find me over on the socials at Kevoreally. That's KEVOREALLY. Teak, what about you, sir? Who are your tops? And where can we find you?
Well, TK is the top.
Yeah. So who are
Barbara
your
Drag Queen,
bottoms?
Bianca Del Rio, Katya, Boston represent. Easy peasy. Talk to me about all these queens at TK Elemental.
As for me, you can find me at Nico Action and Nico Action Music. We can't wait to bring this show to you guys all week long. We do a comics broadcast on Wednesday. This Wednesday, talking to you about the Dead Boy Detectives, an amazing adaptation of an incredible comic book legacy. And then Saturday and Sunday, you guys can check us out talking about things like Eurovision, Doctor Who, and more. We can't wait to bring that to you guys all week long. Until then, though, if you guys could do us a favor, do three things for us. That's comment, like, and subscribe. Those three things, they do magic things for the algorithm. And that means we can keep bringing this amazing show to you guys 3 times a week. But until then, there's 3 things we need from you. I guess it's all the rule of 3. Number 1, if you guys could stay safe. It's a spooky, crazy world, and we want to see you guys stay as incredible as you are. Number 2, if you guys could, in fact, be brave, right? Stay safe, be brave. Being brave is the coolest thing you guys can do because your incredible, indomitable spirit is what we are all here for. And then if you guys can do those first 2 things, if you can evolve daily, who you were yesterday, that is amazing. Who you are today, that is incredible. But who you are tomorrow, that is the final form. And we are definitely here for that boss battle. So until you guys level up, we're going to keep leveling up alongside you. And we'll see ya.